Much, but I know this much. Chelsea have scored. Chelsea have won a game of football, and it's our first goal in 369 minutes of football. An atrocious record that finally we have gotten rid of. And I'm pleased with this win, but there are still some looming doubts over whether we are really heading in the right direction at the moment, whether Graham Potter can salvage anything from his Chelsea career moving forward. I still have many, many doubts, but I want to start with positivity. Got to be positive. And the biggest positive from this game is a man called Wesley Fofana. This guy, for me, I was so excited when we signed him in the summer. For me, he was the best signing we made. A centre-back, young, tenacious, got so many tools in his locker. And we've been without him for so long. He's been injured, plagued with injuries. And I just felt like maybe this is a guy who's never going to recover from that super damaging injury he had when he was at Leicester on his knee. I just felt like this is maybe Fofana's career. He might just always struggle with injury. He's back after being out for Chelsea for so long. And he came on against Tottenham. I think he came on against Southampton also. And what he brings to that centre-back role is honestly a breath of fresh air. Like, he is so deadly. He, from corners, I'm not surprised he scored. Not surprised. You could see before he got that first one, he went so close. Chilwell, in-swinging ball, towering header, and he almost scored early on in the game. Like, Fafana, defensively, making tackles, like making winning key 50-50s, always a nuisance, a difficult, fast. He's just got so many assets to his game, and I just feel like we have been robbed not having Wesley Fofana available for selection for so long, because you just think this season might have been a bit different. What I like about Fofana is he seems unfazed. He seems like he's got a very carefree attitude. He seems like a great guy to be around. And I just think he believes in his abilities. He's confident. He wanted this Chelsea move. And it just hasn't quite gone to plan yet. I just hope he stays fit, because what he brings, honestly, he's an asset. I was talking weeks ago about how, we don't even have anyone to score from corners anymore. I mean, Thiago Silva would pop up every now and then with the odd goal. But since, Rudiger has gone, like, even Christensen would get a few goals, from corners. We've just been so poor from set pieces. We've had no one able to grab a goal, maybe when we need it most, an unlikely source. We've just been missing. And Fofana already has come back and put so many Chelsea attackers to shame with a goal from a corner. Like, it's insane. But that is such a positive to take away from that game. And I just hope he stays fit, because honestly, he's got so much to offer. The balls, the spraying balls, he's confident. He's always making forward passes. He runs forward, he runs into space, kind of like John Terry would do, if there was, or Rudiger, when there's space to run into, as a centre-back, if you're not confident, you can make that sideways pass, you can make that comfortable pass. But if you can run into that space and push everyone forward, things are going to happen. You're going to create chances. We're going to be further up the field. And Fafana was doing that so much. Ben Chilwell, another great performance from Ben Chilwell. He had a shaky game against Tottenham. He was very wobbly, and he hasn't quite found his form since coming back from injury. I mean, he's definitely been a revelation since taking over from Cucurella's responsibilities as left back. Like, it's been massive. It's been night and day seeing Ben Chilwell in that role and seeing Cucurella in that role. But I just know Ben Chilwell has such a high ceiling. There's so much he can offer. And I feel like yesterday was a game where we saw that more. He hasn't come back flying, as Reece James hasn't. Long injuries. But Chilwell, great game from him yesterday. Great deliveries all round. Constant nuisance on the left. And Cucurella needs to get his pen and pad out and start taking notes, because that is what it means to be an effective left back going forward. It's not sideways passes, it's running into space, it's making things happen. You can affect the game from that position. You don't need to be a pedestrian. And Ben Chilwell was outstanding. Now, we've picked up a win. We've won. Finally. We've got something to sing about. We've picked up 3 points after so many opportunities to win games. We've finally won by 1-0 against Leeds at home. Now, I want to be positive and I want to be happy, and I don't want to, keep going on about how negative things are and how bad we're playing. But the truth is, even though we've picked up a win, you could still see that we are not a convincing team at the moment. We have not got a mentality to see games through. Leeds were in it still. Leeds could have pulled it back, and we could have been. I could have been here making a very different tone of video, and the atmosphere around Chelsea could have been very different had Leeds pulled back an equaliser. Meslier went so close in the last minute, and it just shows how fine the margins are at the moment for Chelsea, depending on what's positive and what's negative. And that is just because we are not got that killer mentality at the moment. We let teams get back into the game too easily. If we don't score, like, the game is still very much hangs in the balance. And it could have been a 1-0 defeat. It could have been a draw. There was no real sign that we were going to run away with the game or take it and win this game convincingly. And that is still a problem that I see, even though we've picked up a win. And it just feels like, I feel like we had a bit of luck yesterday, we got a bit of fortune. Leeds maybe had a bit of misfortune, didn't find the back of the net. But we didn't take our chances. Kai Havertz with a glorious opportunity. Kai Havertz again leading the line. Aubameyang on the bench. These are decisions that are still being made by Graham Potter that could well and truly backfire. And okay, maybe we've won and these decisions don't get looked at as finely, but we do as Chelsea fans still know that we could have not got 3 points from that game, and the decisions that were made by Graham Potter could have proved very costly. And that is the issue that we're having. And that is why Chelsea fans in particular are not feeling like we can be too faithful in this project at the moment. It's hard to have a lot of hope because even though we've won, there was no real signs that anything had changed. The scoreline is the only thing that was different. There was no real convincing display from Chelsea that showed that we can kick on and we can start winning games convincingly. We can score, loads of goals. So there's a myriad of reasons as to why Chelsea are not ticking, and it does feel like it all is coming from the manager. But I don't want to be too doom and gloom. But I didn't see anything yesterday that really convinced me that Graham Potter is still the man to take Chelsea to heights that we need to be at, to winning silverware, to winning trophies, or just to winning a patch of games. Like, I just still am unconvinced, but maybe this will be the turn. This could be the catalyst, and Chelsea could go on to win from here, and we might start playing better football. Maybe that pressure has been lifted from the shoulders of a lot of these Chelsea players. We've picked up a win, and now maybe we might have a bit more of a killer instinct in front of goal, possibly. But it's just the fact that we've beat Leeds just about. We've got it over the line just about. And that's just still not good enough, I mean, I don't want to be so pessimistic, but it really isn't good enough to beat Leeds, 17th placed, have an abysmal away form. One goal comes from our centre-back, who hasn't been in this team, who hasn't been coached, really. He's just come in and done his job. It just feels like all these quality players somehow seem to churn out poor performances under Potter at the moment. And the fact that Wes Fofana, who's been far away from this team, has come in and scored almost shows that it's like, the player that's been so far removed from the things that have been happening has produced the goal that eventually leads to the win. It's telling. Luck cannot be the reason we win games. A bit of fortune and hoping that another team has misfortune. We need to be putting in far stronger performances than what we showed yesterday. We need to be far more convincing. We can't taper off as the game goes on. First half an hour, we were bright, we were, dominant, but it tapers off every game, time and time again. If we're on the back foot, we don't go transition easy enough to going back on the front foot. We need to be more convincing over the course of 90 minutes. We need to have that stronger elite mentality. These players are class players. They possess it, but we're not getting the best out of them. And I think yesterday was just another example of that. Guys, let me know what you think. Am I being pessimistic? Even though we've won that game, I still am not filled with encouragement. I'm still not hugely positive about the direction we're going in. I didn't see anything that really made me think, you know what, there is a lot from this Graham Potter team. There is still a lot to unlock. I still haven't seen it. I'm not seeing any signs that we are going to really get better, or I don't have any understanding of how we're going to score more goals or without bringing in players. Of course, spending loads of money on a number 9. I just don't get it. But let me know what you think. What were the positives and negatives from the game yesterday for you? Guys, like this video if you can. It really helps with the algorithms. It helps me get to a lot more other viewers, and it's a big support. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. That's a huge support as well. And yeah, leave a comment in the comment box. I want to hear from you. I want to see what you guys think about this game yesterday, and how do we feel about Dortmund? It's going to be far more telling, Graham Potter and his position as Chelsea manager, if he can pick up a win and we can go through against Dortmund in the week. But it's all yet to remain to be seen. Guys, I'll see you in the next one.